What is up, everybody? What is up? LSUODYSSEY.com Sunday live here. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? LSU Alabama week, and the game will be on. LSU will have college game day in Baton Rouge for the first time since 2019. That's insane. It's going to be quite an atmosphere and environment. Saban back in the state of Louisiana, and he's not coaching Alabama. He's not coaching LSU. It's crazy, and we're going to see how he is received. I'm sure he'll get a warm reception. I'm sure they'll give him the honor and respect, and then maybe there'll be a few a few boos, just to be just to give it to him a little bit, but I think he'll get a good reception for the most part, but it's going to be crazy. You got both of these two-loss teams, LSU, Alabama, Tiger Stadium at night, November. It's when the real teams come out, and guess what? The SEC looks more wide open with each passing week, doesn't it? These games, anybody can win these games. There's so much more parity in the SEC. You've got Vanderbilt beating Alabama. When they were number one in the country right after they had just beat Georgia. You have Arkansas downing Tennessee, right? And then I'm trying to remember how it all went down, but there's so many different upsets and just ways you did not expect this to go. Everyone thought A&M were in the ascension after they beat us. South Carolina beat them by 24 points, 43-20 or something, 44-20. Crazy week to week in the SEC. And that's why it's not out of the realm of possibility that you have two losses. You're still going to be in a good spot for that SEC title game, at least to get in there. You don't have Saban and Alabama anymore, kind of like this barrier of excellence. They're only going to lose one game in the regular season at most, You don't have that anymore. You might actually be looking at a 3-loss SEC team squeaking in as one of the 11 or 12 seeds, something like that, I'm not exactly sure how that college football playoff bracket is exactly seeded, but one of those lowest SEC seeded teams could potentially be a 3-loss team. It's not out of the realm of possibility. We're really still have more football to play. People think this season we still have a full quarter of the regular season to go, and then we have the longest postseason we've ever seen in college football history around the bend too. So there's still so much more of this script for this college football playoff season to be written. And where's LSU's place in it? We've got 2 losses. You thought LSU are done. Season over, right? I never really felt like that with how things are set up now. It's always like, you got a chance. And just since 2007, winning it all as a 2-loss team in the BCS era, you can't convince me ever that a 2-loss team was really out of it, even in the college football playoff era, even when 2-loss teams, usually didn't get in. So this is going to be interesting to see, because it's going to be some interesting matchups out there. We saw today a lot of talk about Zy Alexander versus Ryan Williams on the outside, the freakish receiver, the freshman receiver at Alabama, recruited by Saban, and now going to be coached by DeBoer. Very interesting dynamic there. Very interesting dynamic. Kalen DeBoer, first time coaching in Tiger Stadium, correct? How will he fare? How will he handle that kind of pressure, that intensity? It's going to be interesting to see. This game, there's a lot of different factors to how this game could be decided, and I barely even scraped off the surface of deep diving into Alabama. My hobby isn't to sit there and watch Alabama film. I'm going to be honest with you. My hobby isn't to sit there and watch A&M film. I'm going to be honest with you. My hobby is to sit there and dissect, LSU film, stuff like that. But my hobby is to, dissect LSU film. I'm not really too eager to watch Alabama film, A&M film. That's kind of, you don't really want to watch those teams. I understand that that's the assignment here, though, this week, is to watch those teams, and so we will. Alabama, what we've seen is Jalen Milroe, and he's garbage. He's hot garbage. Most of the time, he does not look that good at quarterback, that commanding at quarterback. And if LSU can actually pressure this dude, actually get a spy on him, do not break contain on him, let him beat you with his legs, there is no way in hell he will beat LSU in the passing game. And that's against a secondary that's not, they haven't been like shut down the best secondary in college football or something. They could continue to make strides towards that ultimate goal. But this secondary has had some bad moments this season, has had some strong moments as well, though, this season as well. So you got Zy Alexander, who's been shut down all year, only allowed 32 total yards. You got Sage Ryan at safety, hasn't allowed a single receiving touchdown in the last 2 seasons. Has been really coming into his own, forcing 2 fumbles on the season, having a few tackles for loss, some pass breakups, some key plays in this season. He's also knocked a few key players from the opposition out of the game. Not trying to say like, yes, injure players or something, but it is a part of the game. He's hit guys so hard they've had to be out of the game. So, you've got these players around guys like Whit Weeks, Greg Penn III, Gio Pius, who I feel like is a central figure for this defense. You've got some big pieces here for this LSU team who can really go into the Alabama game confident on defense. And you've got to have, I think, either Major Burns or Whit Weeks as a total spy to take away Milroe's legs, right? You've got to do it. And I think Major Burns is probably the man for that job. Don't you think? Don't you think Major Burns would be perfect to play that spy role against Milroe? Major Burns, I'm going to challenge you, okay, to be that spy against Jalen Milroe. You're going to have to be like James Bond, bro. You have to be a spy like James Bond. You have to be dun-dun-dun-dun. You have to be sneaking around, going around, sneaking and disguising your blitzes, waiting for that moment where he's gonna tuck it and run. He sees the space, and you're gonna have to take off like lightning and stop that man. You're gonna have to find the spaces before he does. Always have your eyes on this man, knowing he's going to run first if it's open. Always knowing that you're going to have to be called to make at least 15, 16 stops in this game. Now, it doesn't matter how you get him to the ground. I don't care if Major Burns only gets like 2 tackles all game by himself. You just stop him, slow him down, minimize the big plays. Don't let him get first down after first down after first down. And then you need to take out one of his receivers from this game, one of his key targets from this game. And then when you do that, you've pretty much got this thing sussed out. I really do believe if you make Alabama one-dimensional, you can beat this team. But here's the thing. We've seen that with LSU. Against one-dimensional offenses, the defense is playing well. The opposition offense makes 1 or 2 adjustments, sticks with one, facet of their game, and suddenly LSU are screwed on defense. Why does that happen? The A&M run game, putting in Marcel Reed against LSU, like a nuclear bomb, just blew us off the field. USC, for some weird reason, we melted against the run game very late. We allowed so many big plays in the passing game against USC. Not a lot of points. Stuffed them down there at the red zone, but it's just two bad losses on the schedule against two bad teams that, looking worse and worse by the game here. And I told you A&M were not going to be winning the SEC championship. I told you A&M weren't even going to get close or even be higher ranked than LSU. And look what happened. They lost their next game in a shameful defeat. So, we focus more on LSU, right? We don't just focus on the whole conference. But this season, more than ever, I'm finding myself needing to educate myself on the goings-on of everything and everyone in this conference, because it is a wild conference this season, and there's opportunities for LSU, to really make a push for this. Make a big push for that ad looks so gross. Make a big push for this, and with two losses, get into the college football playoff in a healthy spot. And who the hell is going to want to come to Death Valley for a playoff game? Who the hell is going to want to, play this team? Especially if this team have West Weeks back. He's healthy. He's ready to play. He's got that red shirt. He's going to be completely eligible for the postseason. You've got all these pieces coming back. And guys looking more and more healthier, perhaps by then. That's the thing. Right now, LSU are beat up. And this bye week, perhaps you have C.J. Daniels back for a postseason run as well, fully healthy. Chris Hilton Jr. flying and on all cylinders by that point, Right now, you've got a team that has some rusty parts. You've got a team that has some, we really need something out of that guy, but are we going to get it? Some question marks. And one of those is Chris Hilton Jr. in this game against Alabama. My God, if we can get some production from Chris Hilton Jr., if we can get some plays down the field, from Chris Hilton Jr., if we can burn this defense of Alabama, shred them in the secondary, we can absolutely stranglehold Kalen DeBoer's butt chin. We had a showdown between Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors that was 27-22. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders once again winning this season. That's our NFL team, my family. That's our team. And that's it. I'm not just saying that I'm a bandwagon fan like so many. We have seriously been Washington fans since, birth. That was my dad's NFL team. So we were kind of born into that. And finally, in my lifetime, we actually have a quarterback. And it just so happens he's a guy who used to play for LSU. It's just it's brilliant. Sage, hot dog, come here. He wants to do his chalking out front, but he needs to do his chalking out back. There's your chalking out back. Take your hot dog with you. Sorry, my brain has been absolutely demented by his squawking, squeaking, awful screams the last bit there. I was like, oh my God, I'm not even making sense. I can't even think. This kid is just barking at me like a rabid dog. They're 3-2 in the SEC. That is insane to see Alabama 3-2 in the SEC. Wow, good God. Jalen Milroe has 12 touchdowns, 12 rushing touchdowns this season. Jesus. Jamarion Miller's got 450 with 6.1 per carry. Justice Haynes, 350, 5 touchdowns, 6.4 per carry. Here's the thing. If Alabama don't need to even throw the ball against LSU, really, if they can get that running game going, LSU could be screwed on defense. And it could turn into a crazy shootout, and I really don't know if we could win a shootout. Do you have faith in LSU winning a shootout against Alabama? Comment in the comment section if you would on that. Do you have faith? Keep talking, bud. Do you have faith that LSU could beat Alabama in a shootout? I'm actually thinking this is a game that if LSU could stop the run, we have a big chance here, obviously. That's what you would like to think. But, man, we allowed 180 rushing yards to Ole Miss in a game we won, in a game we felt good about, and a game we felt like we had stopped the run. And we should have lost that game. We survived that game, like we survived South Carolina, a game we also allowed a crap ton of rushing yards. I think there was over 200 in that game too. So like LSU's defense has improved markedly over Matt House. We're not even going to go there. Of course, that's not even a question. But there have been moments where this defense has allowed some huge plays in the running game, but then has gotten like worn down in the second half, got worn down in the first, maybe improved in the second, but a crap ton of yards allowed in the running game. Then there's games we've been able to kind of buckle down and stop the run. This game, we saw what Jalen Milroe did to LSU last year. That should be prime tape. I mean, I understand where Blake Baker, he arrives, he probably doesn't harp on the Matt House tape that much because he's like, this scheme is so bad, these situations are so bad, let's just not even address this and just move forward. But this is tape you have to go back over from last season and just be like, you see what they're doing, right? You see how like easy this is for them, and you see that they're going to call this again and test you guys again and dare you to stop it again. These little RPO draw plays where Milroe's going to fake like he's actually going to pass, has no intention of passing it, and then looks for the space left, right, or center. You've got to be ready for those plays. Major Burns is going to have an amazing game here. And there's got to be 3 or 4 guys who are willing to back him up on every one of those plays on the outside, whether that's Whit Weeks, whether that's Zy Alexander or Sage Ryan, Jordan Gilbert even, Ashton Stamps making tackles from the corner position. But then you have to have big games from Braden Swinson on the edge, not just in, getting sacks, but getting TFLs, getting, tripping Milroe up when he's about to go for 15. You trip him up, grab him by the legs, and hold him to 4. That's a big play against Milroe. I am not going in this game being like, Milroe is a crappy player. LSU can absolutely dominate him, blah, 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 blah. LSU can dominate him defensively. We should dominate him defensively, really. He's a one-dimensional player. But here's the thing. What he does, he is very, very good at. Running the football, you saw it against LSU. It was too easy against LSU, though, last year. And that is what we must stop. Jalen Milroe is going to get his. He's going to make big plays against LSU in the running game. That's just how it is, and that's how this kid is built. He's like the light version of Jaden Daniels. He's like the Jaden Daniels light, natty light. He's like the fat-free version of Jaden Daniels. Like he's diet Jaden Daniels. But still, good at what he does. But here's the thing. If you can shut him down, force him to actually throw the football in key situations where he knows the running, there's no option in the running game. And he knows his legs are not going to be able to bail him out. And he's starting to look, and he's starting to have to dissect defenses. He's starting to have to dissect coverages. I mean, I'm going to know better, coverage dissection than Jalen Milroe would at this point. I'm not the biggest X's and O guy. I'm not Carter the Power, with the wand, drawing up the plays. This is the giant formation, and this is, I played up into high school, but I didn't, I was never going to be some college football player, and I became a student of the game only as far as like the history, and I love the X's and O's and diving into plays and why things happened, who was actually at fault. Oh. Everyone thinks the corner was at fault on this play, but it's actually the safety. He's supposed to come over the top, and the corner passed responsibility, whatever. There's these common things where people don't understand, and you need to watch film to understand those things about football, about who actually, whose assignment it was. Not just to assign blame, but so that you actually understand the game. And, the more I get into those deeper analyses, the more I feel I understand the game more and more. But I don't have to be an X's and O's guy to tell you what's going on. And that's the thing about this here. Jalen Milroe is going to need to be able to dissect a Blake Baker defense. I say good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you, Jalen. Because I don't think that he has the football IQ to do that. And I don't think Kalen DeBoer and his offensive staff are putting him in a position to be successful this season in the passing game. And really, the only plays that he's been successful in the passing game, it's through the air to Ryan Williams. These big plays by Ryan Williams, and it's because that kid has unbelievable, freakish speed. He has 702 yards, 35 catches. The next person is Jeremy Bernard with 463 and 2 touchdowns, 5 less catches. But there's a huge drop-off from those two. The next few guys have 169, 107, 90. There's barely any receiving contributions outside of those guys. So LSU's defense, really, if they can clamp down on the running game, shut down those lanes for Jalen Milroe into the secondary, into the next level, you can absolutely put this team in a passing situation on 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7. When look at last year, they were just moving the chains constantly, big chunk plays nonstop. They were like 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4 at the most. And then when LSU would even get them into 3rd and long, Milroe would be like, all right, no problem. Let me put on my cape and go for 15. Because we couldn't tackle and we were in the worst position possible. And it was all because there was no spy. There was no one watching Jalen Milroe. And LSU just got exposed for this bad against Marcel Reed. LSU had no preparation for this kid. Nothing. And he absolutely torched us. And this is exactly what LSU are going to be looking at when you're taking on Jalen Milroe in Alabama. You're going to be looking at this type of stuff. And this is what we're going to put on the screen here. This is what you do not want to be failing at. And this is LSU have had time to prepare and time to figure this out. Not only that, you just suffered a loss to an opponent who plays that type of style of offense and is killing you with that type of offense. You can't screw this up for me. Like, you cannot. They have to make this happen, really. Like, the LSU's defense cannot screw this up here as far as allowing Jalen Milroe to dictate this game.
One bad play trying to convert on 3rd down. The Aggies are set up at the 8-yard line on his.
He's got great mobility.
There's a turnover, and then he puts in Marcel Reed.
Plays well off schedule.
Got Le'Veon Moss to his left. You'd figure they would feed him down here.
This play is over the second that happens, right? I mean, it's already over. There's 2 blockers out in front. He doesn't even need them. He could just go and probably still score here, even taking a hit right here. But this is just too easy. I mean, look at this.
Keeper. He pulled it and scored.
And Marcel Reed doesn't have even anywhere near the speed of Jalen Milroe.
Jalen
Milroe, he's probably getting 50 yards on a play like that.
One play touchdown drive of the Aggies. Claim momentum.
How can LSU fix this?
Here they do.
Okay? How can LSU fix this? Well, it's all about the scheme here by the defense. Look at the alignment. It's way too far over to the right. You got this guy, the linebacker. I think this is Penn. You got these 2 linebackers. They're kind of just centralized, but a little bit to the left. Actually, our right. You're right on the view. You got a safety coming down there to help. You got an edge who bites here and Savion Jones buys the fake. But even if he didn't bite the fake, he would have to make a one-on-one play versus Marcel Reed, and there's no one there to help him, right? There's like literally no one in that gap behind Savion Jones. So even if Savion Jones doesn't bite on that fake
here they do.
Like that with Marcel Reed, he's able to do that. Marcel Reed, in my opinion, still shouldn't score against the defense from this right here. You've got these 2 who, okay, maybe they get blocked, but you've got Gilbert, you've got Savion who's going to fill inside here. Gilbert force him back inside. You've got Deshaun Womack. You got Penn coming around here. Like, you should be able to stop him from here. But you know what? It doesn't matter because that fake in the initial spot, you're already done.
Claim momentum
and Marcel Reed is just barely getting going. And that's
happened in a hurry.
That's exactly what we're going to see.
Down. I'm going to pull that. And this is
that is why you need someone to have the blocks out there on the perimeter nonstop. So
I'm going to pull that.
Look at the
happened in a hurry.
Feel that.
Wherever Major Burns is on this play, or wherever there would have been a position for a star, let's see. I think Major Burns is right there behind. Yeah, he's right there behind Savion Jones, and Major Burns looks like
happened in a hurry.
Feel that. He collapses.
Guarding the tight end, but then he is also, it looks like he's just looking in the backfield, aware of what's going on, watching. And he just gets blocked. He can't even come close to making this play.
This is
so what you do
feel that
is you're going to have to free up Major Burns by bringing someone down in coverage. And yes, that could open up other possibilities, but you simply have to free up Major Burns. You put up Sage Ryan up close in coverage. Let Sage Ryan jam him at the line, be aggressive, disrupt the route. basically just completely destroyed them as even an option, so that, okay, if they beat us over the top with one of these guys on the outside right, fine, so be it. But I'm going to come down here and support Major Burns and free him up so that he doesn't get caught up in this blocking scheme here and can just spy and attack the backfield and support the edge guy. So if an edge guy bites and the fake, fine. They need to be able to feel that they can be aggressive and just attack, whether they bite on the fake or not, or whether they dissect it correctly or not. They need to feel like they can attack it like that, okay? But there's got to be someone there. And what is this? He's almost like running away, and instead of jumping into that space, he almost jumps in and then back out into a block.
I mean, he is quick. How about the
that's just
he
bad.
Collapses down. I'm going to pull that
there and go hit him.
This is lightning. I mean, he is quick. How about the blocks out there on the perimeter? I'm going to pull that. And this is lightning. I mean, he is quick. How about he collapses down. I'm going to pull that.
Like right there, just roll down there and go hit him.
I mean, he is quick. How about the blocks out there on the perimeter to get him into the end zone? I'm not even looking at
the ball or where he's moving. I'm
nice
watching
job
his
of
legs.
Staying
I'm
on
going after his legs.
That ride there.
Sage just has to
nice job of
literally go flying right through here. He's probably going to get blocked.
Staying on that
ride
there.
Force him outside, then he's following him outside. But oh man,
really getting the field for 35 Jones. Get him to commit down. Feel that he collapses down.
Anyway, there's more plays to dissect on.
To catch on
more plays. It's not a good thing.
Of
course, we give them a short field again.
The crowd.
See, here's the thing that people keep forgetting. We also give them
ball's coming. He better be ready. That's a
on
free ball.
All these touchdowns.
Defending Marcel Reed.
So
it's more about the
LSU
edges.
can avoid that.
Be respectful of the edges.
Handoff. Moss is free. Moss barrels down inside the LSU 40 and flexes.
How do we make
Other
the screen bigger?
options for him, whether it's his jet sweep or the interior run.
Keeper again.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. He went through weeks too there. That's crazy.
Keeper again.
The fake. No one really buys the fake.
Whether it's his jet sweep or the interior run.
It's just, they're kind of just frozen. They're kind of like, what's going on here? And Marcel Reed's just flying, and they're just smacking people. Look at these good blocks right here on Penn. Whit Weeks. That's a great block on Whit Weeks. Not a miss by Whit Weeks. That's a great block.
Up and running.
And then
dragged.
Lucky we got
Keeper
him down
again.
There.
He's off and running. Dragged down inside the 15. Marcel Reed. Daniels is the back to his right. Three receivers off to the left.
Eye candy that we keep going after.
And Reed looking to throw. Nope, not for long.
These four guys, I get it. They're going to run those deep routes and take all those guys deep. I get it. But that's why you've got to have your defensive line and your linebackers, and you've got to have that star be there at all times.
You
cannot let your star get schemed into coverage
down near the
in this
goal
game.
line.
I've said it again and again and again and again.
Into the end zone for
you cannot let
touchdown.
someone just motion someone over. Okay, they've got Major Burns, the star
Marcel
over here, kind
Reed
of off on the edge,
has ignited
right
this
behind
offense.
Savion or right behind Swinson, and he's just basically going to spy from the edge. Okay, let's turn him into a nickel, basically, a position he's terrible at. Motion a guy across the formation over, and now Major Burns is gonna have to cover him. Well, you immediately bring a safety down right into coverage. Sage Ryan, that's why you have him there at safety, is so we can immediately, in a scheme, in a pre-snap, move down in there, and then Major Burns can fluctuate off there and be basically like an auxiliary third linebacker at /star/spy. I think that's the way you do it. You cannot let Major Burns get schemed into coverage, because then he's just going to get blocked out of the play or get taken downfield or get burned in coverage even.
The Nussbauer rediscovered the rhythm. He's been a cold streak. And he almost throws it right.
That's another thing.
To the beach.
Not throwing interceptions.
because
but
you
I
think
don't
he's
think
going to stay to the
Alabama's
inside
defense
with
will
the
be forcing too many
drops
from Garrett
off of-
Nussmeier. I actually
goes-
expect a great game from Garrett Nussmeier, a great bounce back game. But look at what it set up.
Moss has it running right, barreling into the end zone.
I mean, they just have to go in from there.
Moss has it running right, barreling into the end zone.
Oh my God!
Texas A&M Avalanche continues, but a flag is down. So hold on.
Personal
Le'Veon
foul, illegal
Moss.
blindside block,
Okay.
offense, number 9, 15-yard penalty, still first down.
Ja'Day Walker, and it will negate the touchdown.
Player.
Okay, so what's the next step?
So now we have to look to see if it's contact to the head neck area. Is there an indicator?
I mean, I don't know what else he hit besides above the head and the neck. I mean, look at his head. It went backwards.
I see an upward thrust.
See the saltiness pregame. It just escalated as this
After
game has
video
gone on.
review, replay has confirmed targeting. Number 9, offense. Number 9 is disqualified from the game.
Stays back this time.
Around the right end, Daniels barrels down near the goal line. He's inside the 5. It'll be 3rd and goal.
In this football game.
Lining up with some tempo here. Keeper, touchdown, Marcel Reed. The magic continues and the Aggies stretch the lead.
135 Savion Jones right here. Watch him slow-mo it, and he right there, he pulls it out at the last second, and then he walks to the end zone.
Again, he's got time to make adjustments. The play clock ticking now down to 3. Pulls it on the move, evades pressure, fires over the middle, and the catch is made by Chris Hilton. And the speedster lost the ball late.
Middle of that A&M defense where he had success in the first half.
Massive confusion. Aggies had dudes trying to run off the field. Ball heaved down, and it is caught down inside the 5 by Aaron Anderson. A&M was discombobulated totally. Rolling on 2nd and goal, looking to the end zone. Catch made, and it's Green for a touchdown. Trey'Dez Green, the 6'7" freshman tight end. Lead down right.
Left knee, where's the football when it touches?
It's
See there?
It's pretty close.
After video review, the runner's left knee was down and the ball was just outside the goal line.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get into this game more
Just outside,
in our article.
so
We'll
pretty
be doing a preview
Team
article
Hal,
this week,
but
of
8-0.
course.
Let's see, same play.
Probably tomorrow at some point that article will be out. Look for that on LSUODYSSEY.com, of course. We also have we have a hoodie, a new hoodie and a new shirt on LSUODYSSEY.com, our first ever merch. We're gonna refine some of this stuff. We're gonna make some really good stuff up here coming up, but definitely check it out. We've got some more gear coming this week. Right there, LSUODYSSEY.com/shop. You go right into the homepage and click on the More tab. Go down on the shop. You click the shop, and it takes you to this. And we got a hoodie. We made it as cheap as we possibly could. We barely get any profit. You know, we've got this 100 years of Tiger Stadium edit on the back with some great moments in Tiger Stadium history right there on the back from actually the article we wrote about it. So in a way, it's almost like a celebration, promotion of that article. And then the first ever edit that I ever made for the site, a 2019 era Coach O leading the team out, I believe, in Atlanta, right? Or no, they got the 2020 patches on that, so that's leading them out for the national championship game, or it could be against Oklahoma, either one. Wait, no, that is the title game because there's no like Fiesta Bowl patch. So yeah, that's the title game. Leading them out for the title game, and that was the first ever edit we ever made. It's got us right there in the Stones shirt, and Coach O leading them out. It does come in white, but I like it in this dark chocolate look. The dark chocolate look I think is awesome. Got the tagline there, not the best at what we do. We're the only ones who do what we do. It's not a brag. It's just trying to build some mythology, guys. But yeah, if you're interested in them, they are there. But yeah, we're going to dive way more into this Alabama game as it comes. We got pieces of an article done already. I'm saving some of the topics to I was wanting to discuss for that article, just in case. Kyle Skeens, where are the lawn bombs? The lawn bombs. Is that like a new, what's lawn bombs? Is that what you guys call it on 3 when I break news? Lawn bombs? Or the forum, whatever forum it is? That's funny. Lawn bombs. I love it. Get off my lawn. Like, yeah, I don't like my name, but it is what it is. Lawn bombs. Well, we always have news to break, my man. We always. Oh, that's okay. Lawn bombs. That's what it's called. Holy shit. We're always breaking news, my man. I don't know if you saw this last weekend. Actually, that's something we put in the article. I mean, the headline of this video is breaking news weekend recap. So we can actually go right into that because there was plenty of that to get into, including, CJ Daniels. It's looking like he's banged up, and it's looking like it's kind of touch and go whether he actually will be available for this game, which is not something you want to hear. You just barely got Chris Hilton Jr. back. It's kind of skeptical on whether he can take it to the next level so soon against Alabama. You would love to have Daniels in there, but what percentage of health is Daniels going to be, even if he plays? How long can he last? We saw that against A&M. He played. He didn't last very long. And this was right after coming off of like a career game for him. I'm sorry, not career game, but his most yards for LSU, 86. He really, 0 touchdowns this year. If you were to tell me through 9 weeks, CJ Daniels would have 0 touchdowns at LSU, I'd be like, he had to have been injured or there would be like something catastrophic, like a suspension or something. I never would have believed that. Just 0 touchdowns. Why can't it show my LSU mug? There we go. What you saying, Seiji? What you saying? I heard he may be out to the playoffs if we make it. Who suggested that? Because if it was anyone else, they probably heard it from us. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like Dellinger, though. Garrett Dellinger, just as we reported when this last week that he had a surgery on his ankle. It wasn't just a high ankle sprain. He had a surgery on this thing. I said that still doesn't count him out of this game. We have seen Garrett Dellinger continuously play like right after midseason surgeries on a torn meniscus, a broken hand. He had both of those injuries at the same time and still played. That was in 2022. So like, I'm not going to get Dellinger out of playing against Alabama, but that is what has happened. An operation on that ankle. That was before the bye week, of course. So he's had time to recover, but I mean, good Lord. CJ Daniels, though, it's less optimistic of a situation And it's because now he's endangering. This kid has already had an ACL tear before. He's endangering some serious injury here. Like he's dancing with a serious injury here, and he's got to worry about a future, that NFL draft, all sorts of stuff. I don't think he has a COVID year, right? CJ Daniels. So this is his last go. He's shown he's a dynamic player. He's shown he can be a sick SEC receiver. He just hasn't had that chance to be dominant for some reason. Hasn't taken it. But CJ Daniels, there's been moments he's been wide open, hasn't been fed the football. There's been moments he's made a beautiful route, hasn't been fed the football. Nuss isn't able to find him. Nuss is more comfortable when he's on the field, as people continually point out. Sure, of course he's going to be, with a veteran receiver who's always going to be where he should be. That's someone he doesn't have to worry about. And then usually that guy doesn't get the ball. He's worrying about someone else, because that guy's kind of the workman-like receiver, wearing out this guy and draining this corner's reserve all game and running them into the ground while getting 0 targets their way. It's still, doing something for the team, but it's very less glamorous than, 1,000+ yards, 10+ touchdowns like he had at Liberty. And still, though, as I just said, LSU could be playing literally, let's see, we got Alabama, Florida, Vandy, Oklahoma, and then potentially an SEC title game, potentially a first-round game, that's 6, potentially a second-round game, 7, potentially a semifinal, 8, title game. LSU could potentially be playing 8, 9 games still from this point. So, fret not. This season is long from over. Even if LSU don't even make it in the final 12, there's still plenty of games left. There's at least, 4, 5, 6 potentially. There is a possibility here for some crazy fireworks and some crazy turn of events here. Some guys like a Jelani Watkins to announce himself, a Trades Green to take this game over. This game against Alabama should be known as the Trades Green game. Feed him the football, and Garrett Nussmeier's a chance to maybe even beat Rohan Davies' 528 record that still stands from 2001. If he does that, that would be insane. And you know what? If he does it, it's going to be because Trades Green gets the football a bunch and goes ham. Mason Taylor gets the football a bunch, goes ham. Chris Hilton Jr. catches a few bombs. Jelani Watkins comes off the bench, catches a few big plays. Aaron Anderson moves those chains. Kyron Lacey makes a play. You're going to be feeding guys left, right, and center. I get it. But I want to see plays out of both these tight ends, Trades Green and Mason Taylor. These two guys, I don't think Alabama have guys who can cover them. I don't think Alabama have anybody who can cover Mason Taylor or Trades Green. I don't think anyone has someone who can cover Trades Green, by the way. But you must. I mean, that's the thing, is we looked away from Mason Taylor too much in that A&M game. And it cost us. We needed him in some big moments. You've got to feed him the football, Mason Taylor. Big-time weapon. You've got to feed him the football. But I want to talk about how LSU need to run the damn ball. And we're going to be getting into that in our next shows and our next articles. Stay tuned on LSUODYSSEY.com. I wanted to save this little tease for the last part of the show, because it's something that's going to be nuts. As my toddler son is trying to rip my shirt off, I don't know what he's doing. Rip my shirt off with a little can of Play-Doh in his hand. We have some very interesting information that is crossing our path, our wire, pertaining to LSU recruiting and pertaining to the team, both. just like we've been able to feed this last week with, news on Underwood, news on Jakeem, Thanos, Stewart. And we still have that breaking news story there on LSUODYSSEY.com for our amazing subscribers. They're right there for you. And then also we followed that up with another breaking news report on Garrett Dellinger, some injuries, Garrett Dellinger, and some other stuff that was going on. There is some very interesting, very intriguing, very mind expanding. What the hell's going on? That changes my view on that person, on that subject, on that player. We've got some stuff coming. We've got a story that we've been sitting on for a little bit here, that we've been working on, an article, a big piece that we've been working on, a feature article that we've been working on, quotes from all sides involved. This has been an LSU Odyssey investigative story, an LSU Odyssey investigative story that's been probably about a year and a half into the making. We've got a few of those that have been going on for a couple of years now that need a few life events, a few things to happen for us to finish them. This one is finally, after news I got in my text today, this one is finally close to being done. Should be done in the next couple days here. And that's going to be, it's something that instead of being controversial or crazy, it's actually an exciting thing. And so hopefully everything, I really don't want to announce it because I really don't want to say something that might, this thing has a little bit, to get to that finish line, but it's nearly there. I want to make sure it's perfect. So stay tuned for that. Only on LSUODYSSEY.com. Everybody, you've been supporting the site like crazy lately. I appreciate it like crazy. We're getting to know so many of you. Getting to know so many people within this LSU fan base, this glorious, beautiful LSU fan base. And we're only going to continue to charge further and charge forward into this beautiful, epic season. Bask in this 2024 season. I know it's been infuriating. I know it's been heartbreaking at times. I know it's been, triumphant. It's been nuts. It's been wild. It's been frustrating. It's been everything, right? It's going to continue to be that. And that's how we want it to be. That's how we want our college football. We want it to be epic, full throttle, high octane, powerhouse, balls to the wall. And we're getting nothing less than that this season. I think we're only going to get it better and better, starting with this LSU-Alabama game coming this Saturday. Buckle up, everybody. I think this one's going to be a good one. We've got breaking news coming this week, very early this week, a huge feature coming soon. We've got an LSU-Alabama preview article. We've got a couple big-time interviews with some special guests coming up this week that we've got planned, we've got set up. Our last guests have always been top dollar, 100% perfect type of guests, and it's always a surprise. So we're going to keep it that way. We always want to make it a surreal experience for you here at LSUODYSSEY.com. Everybody, your dreams can come true. Make them happen. Go Tigers, baby.